All right. So just quick recap what we did in the past. Previously, we went and no, it's not this one. Where is it? Yeah. So the question was to validate the password, then extract it from the password box, but then I asked you guys to read it from a text file. Then we check that it should be 6 characters. The first one must be a capital letter, and we check that there must be at least 2 special characters. And then if it is, then just to validate that password. So then let's quickly see. Oh no, so yeah. What did we do? We did the password and then we saved it to a text file. Let's quickly see. Yeah. So we extracted the password. We assumed it's true. We check the length of the password to see if it's less than 6, it's automatically false. Then we check the first letter if it's a capital letter by making the first one lowercase. And if it's the same as that one, that means both was lowercase. So then it's also not a valid password. And then we went through the length, checked if each character is one of these ones, and we incremented a counter. And if the counter was less than 2, it's false. But if after all 3 checks, if valid was still true, then we enabled that button, we assigned our text file, we cleared it and wrote the password to there, and then closed it, basically saving the file. So we got the text, the password, checked it if it was valid. If it was valid, we saved it to the text file. What we want to do here now is we want to read that text file. So for this one, we want to encrypt the password. So the question I asked you, read from the text file, encrypt it, and then add the encrypted one below the other one. So let's start with that. Our first step would be read from the text file. So let's get that part sorted. I gave some hints here for the end, so we'll get to that. All right, but if I want to read from a text file, which variable do I need? So to read that password, which has got characters and numbers all combined in one. Yes, we're reading from a text file, so we need our text file variable. Okay, new pass as a string. All right. And then maybe that you save the old one or not? That you just use this, reuse this one the whole time. Yes, the original, the one we're reading. Yeah. All right. So it's a separate button though. So with this one, it's local variables when we read it. So did you make yours global maybe? Yeah. So but just watch with that also. In this question, in question 1, it's fine. I want all of you, you need to realize your type of questions. I'm talking sort of grade 12 now, but so that you understand where it comes from. In grade 12, you'll have 4 questions. The first one is this problem solving. So if you want to create global variables so that you can use it throughout different patterns, that's fine. Once you go to question 2, I can't remember, either question 2 is OOP or 3 is OOP, and then database is the other one. But if you go to the OOP question, they don't create global variables there to help you. They actually want you to use the object the whole time. So, and your object will automatically be global. So just be careful when you get to the OOP question and you think, let me make a global variable to help myself. In the past, they actually penalized people for doing that, saying, but you guys know this is the OOP question, so you know to use your object and not just create a global variable to bypass it. So, and then they actually penalize students for doing that. So in question 1, if a global helps you, go for it. In the OOP question, if a global will help you, most probably not. You most probably need to use your object for it. If there's no other way, do it, but otherwise try to refrain from that. All right, so with this one, our step one would be to read the password from the text file. Do you agree? We need to get that password so that we can use it. So our first thing we do, we assign file. I've already got this here, so I'm going to put it here. Now to read from a text file, what do I need to do next? So we're not going to append. Append is right. Before read line, how do it? Yes, reset. Reset TF. Remember, reset opens the text file for reading for us. So this just links the variable TF to this password. So it links our RAM version of the text file to the storage version of the text file. So it links those two, but still nothing happened. So we have to say, what do you want to do with the text file? So with this one, we're saying, open it so that I can read from it. All right, and now how do I read the first line? So Pavan did say, so that's just our read line. Read line out of TF, and we want to put it into parse. So that will now read the line and put it in there. Do you agree there's only one line? Because we only got this one password that we checked. We put into the text file. So the text file only has one line. So we don't need to put it in a loop. Some people say, but sir, we did it in the for loop or in the while loop, while not end of file, and we did it. If you went that route, it's also fine, but there's always one line. So it will read the one line and then it will find the end of the line and then stop. So if you did put this in a repeat loop with while not end of file, that's also fine. It wouldn't break it because it will literally read the one line and then just stop. And then what we do need to remember with this, we need to know that we want to write to it again. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to, after we read it, we need to close the text file. So we assign it, we open it for reading, we read the line, and then we close the text file. But now we've got the password. So the question asked us to change the first letter of the valid password to the next alphabet letter. For example, if it's an A, make it a B. If it's a B, make it a C, and so on. But if it's a Z, make it an A. All right, so that's what we need to do. It needs to become the next one. You remember with this, we had to check all these things, and one of the things we needed to check in the previous one was that the first character will be a capital letter. So we don't need to worry about small letters. We can only look at the capital letters because we already made sure the first letter is a capital letter. So it will be a capital letter. So now there's really a lot of ways you could do this. So give me one of your ideas of how you did it. And then if somebody had another idea, also tell it to us. And then I thought of 3 different ways to do it. But yeah. So, but let's see. Tell me, what did you guys give me some options? Who did what? Did all of you try it? Okay, who tried this? Wait, let me start this. So with ASCII code, so one option would be to use ASCII code. So with ASCII, you'll see each character and symbol as actually, let's just go images, will have its own value. I hope this is going to come out clear. Yeah. So like the letter, capital letter A has got a value of 65. And there's the binary number. The letter J has got a number 74. The letter Z has got 90. But that's the capital letters. Your small letters are up here. Small letter A is 97. Small letter Z is 122. Then you've got different things. The escape key itself, pressing the escape key, has got a value of 27. Having a star has got a value of 42. So each thing we do in the computer works actually with this binary set as to what happened, and it boils down to an ASCII number, which is the decimal version of that character, if I can say it like that. So with this one, what's nice about it, if you take that first character and you use ORT, what ORT does, ORT gives you the ASCII code. Then you can just add 1 to it. Because I mean, if it was the C, it will give you the value of 67 plus 1, then it becomes 68, and then you just convert it back with char. It will take the ASCII code and make it a character again. So that's the one way that generally works good. The other one that I like, I want to say, is it's sort of a cheat, but it works in so many things. That's why this one works good for today. But creating a string, alphabet string, creating an alphabet string, and then extracting from there also really helps. And this could help for a lot of things to get that done. So there's the 3 ways you could have used. So this one, just like if you can't think of anything else, it's the easiest one that most people think about, but it takes very long. So let's look at, I'm going to do 1.1 and then I'll do 1.2 as well, just to show you different options. Because remember, we're not looking at just the answer, we're building a base of possible ways to approach any type of question in that sense. So what this will do is, you agree, our first question is, they just asked us to do the first character. Just the first letter should be changed. So we don't care about the rest. So what we can do now is we need to get that first character and let's get the ASCII code for it. So ASCII code is an integer. So let's call it code maybe. Make it an integer. I'm doing this just to break it up. Obviously you can do like most of this in like one line, but I like to break it up a bit. So step 1 would be to change into a ASCII code the first character of the password. So it's my password at position 1. Everybody with me? So this will take the first character and it will get me the ASCII code for that one. But now I want the next one. So what I can just do then, so it means my code must increment. So I must increment my code just to take it to the next version. And then I've got that. So then my new password can then become the character version of code. So let's see. So this took the first character, changed it into an ASCII code. So if it was the letter A, we would get a number of 65. So now code will have a version 65. Then we incremented code. So now code became 66. And now we convert it back. So now we convert it back. So now it becomes, the 66 becomes a B. So the 66 becomes a B. And then we can already put that in the passcode. So now the first character is sorted. Then what this question just wants is, do you agree the rest of the password must just stay the same? So how do I get, so my new password should become whatever the new password was, but plus, and how do I get all the other characters from password except the first one? What can I put in there to get that? Yes. So copy out of pass. What do you mean? Like in there? 100%, yes. You can actually combine all of this into one line. So it could literally be Um, so what you could have done, you could have said your new password is then instead of that, you could have had that. So getting that, but then instead of code, you could put this and then just add one there. So get the first character, make it an ASCII code, plus one, convert it back, and then add the rest. So that one line does all four of these lines in one. It's just generally, I don't like doing it this way because then if there's an error, then it's very difficult to follow. Where's the brackets again? Is all that? I like doing it this way, just keeping track of, all right, I got the first letter, made it an ASCII code, incremented it, get a character again, and then added all the rest. So yeah, you could have combined these as many as you wanted to make it easier for you. But yes, so that would create your new password. And you agree it looks a bit easier than your for loop route, trying to get that happening there. Alright, so that's our ASCII code version. So try to remember that any character will always have an ASCII version. So you can, using ORT, you can get the ASCII code, and then you can add or subtract whatever from that number and then just make it a character again. The only problem with this one that we didn't cater for is they said if the letter is Z, it must become an A. So with ours, if it's a Z, it's going to become a square bracket because we're going to take the 90, add 1, and becomes a square bracket. So wants to give us an idea, how can we fix that so that if it's a Z or if the ASCII code is 90, that we go to A and not to the square bracket. What do we need? Yes, 100%. So now again, you've got two choices now again. You could have checked, you could have ifed the Z, or you could have ifed the ASCII code. So which one would you prefer? Do you rather want to check the Z or the ASCII code? Let's do the Z because it's easier than this line, or not easier, but then this line also works. But it just means we need to check. So if our character at position 1 is equal to um, a Z, if it's equal to a Z, then let's just see, we can still keep this then our new passcode must become whatever the new pass, no, then plus the letter A. That, and then we can just do else, yeah. Okay, but yeah, you guys actually want to begin and end, so let me just do that. Begin and end, and then begin and end. Alright, so what we did here, we just needed to check for the Z as well. So that code we had is fine, but it only works when it's not a not a Z. So we just checked, is the first character a Z? If it's a Z, put an A plus that. But then if it's not a Z, do this piece of code. And then that would work 100%. Alright. So what we do is we create the alphabet. So with this alphabet, as I said, this one, you adjust what we need. What we needed now is we needed the alphabet plus the A at the end. But let's say let's say the question was, how many vowels is there in a sentence? Then you can go and in here you can put A, E, I, O, U. and you can do a for loop that will go through each of these ones. So in this case would just be the 5, but you'll also have a for loop then for the sentence. So like our password now, they just wanted to change the first one, so it's a little bit they could have, let's say they asked us to check a sentence and to count how many vowels is there in the sentence. So then we'll actually create a for loop to go from 1 to the length of the sentence, which you don't have, and then we can have another for loop that would go through each of these 5. So that will just go through the 5 of them. I don't have another variable now, so I don't want to go create that now. But then what you'll do is, if your sentence at I, so if your sentence at I is equal to your alphabet, so let's say this for loop was a J for loop. So remember, I am giving you guys this is higher order questions. So they are a little bit different. Let's see what this does. So that will go from 1 to 5. So it's going to take each character from the sentence and compare that to each character inside my alphabet. And if that, you'll probably have a counter, so then you'll just increment count. You'll increment your count variable. So what this will do is it will go through each character in the sentence, comparing it to each character in my alphabet. If they're equal to each other, increment count. So now we're counting the vowels. So this algorithm I'm showing you here, if you can sort of remember this, it will help you with any type of question that if you want to count vowels or consonants or numbers in a sentence, and it even doesn't mean it needs to be counted. You could check for validity, make something false, like when we did this previous one, say valid's false. That can be checked inside here. If any of those things are found, then valid becomes false. Any which way around, it could be used for. So that's what's nice about this route. In this one, at least we're just working with one character. So that means we don't need another for loop because we're only comparing it to one. So what we're doing now is, oh wait, let me undo all this, otherwise I'm gonna, so before I confuse it. If you understood what I said now, fantastic. If you didn't, please don't worry too much. I just gave an idea. When you get the questions, you will realize, if you sort of remember this a bit, you can wing it and you'll get to the place where you should be. Oh, so many undos. Alright, let's fix this one. So my alphabet, I want this. I want to now just go through this and see where is this character that we're busy working with. So this will go through all 27 characters. If I find the one I'm looking for, so which is any of these ones, so if the first character is equal to any one of them, then my new password must just become the alphabet at I plus 1. So as soon as I find the one, then I just go to the next one. I just put the next one in my new password. So if it finds it at H, it's going to put the I in new pass. And that will do that whole conversion for you. And then the only thing we need is we also need to just, we still need that line though, to just add all the rest. So this is your second option. Generally, I like this one more. I use this a lot. So that's why I know it well and I like using it. Creating a string with the options we want inside it, and then just using it to adjust whatever we need to do. However, especially when you want to take something to just the next version in the ASCII code, this is not a bad way of solving it. Doing your ORD and then just converting it back. Whichever way is fine. Obviously, as I said, if you just do multiple ifs, that would also be okay. They'll accept that. They'll accept that. They might penalize you one, but I think not even. They'll say, this guy wasted so much time on typing all of this stuff. They'll probably just give it to you in any case. So, and then you still get the marks for this higher order question with an easy, relatively easy way of solving it. All right, let's quickly look at your option you had. So you'll see this one is very similar to the one you wanted to do. So if we went for but now let's just create this as a F because you wanted to do characters. Yeah, I think it could work. I haven't thought about this yet. So that's what I'm thinking. Let's try this. It could work, I think. So if we look through all the characters, so it sort of does that. And then we do want to check if our pass at position 1 is equal to then the F character. Yeah, the only then my new pass should become, I wonder if F plus 1 would work if I just, and then add the rest. All right, let's quickly just show message. I'm not sure. This might maybe work. Okay, let's quickly see if it works. Errors, what to do? No, alright, it doesn't like the plus 1. So we need to get to the next one of it though. Yeah, okay, so if you wanted to do this, we would need to cheat it a bit. And when I say cheat, I mean, let's say if you created a variable that's a I, make it 0. And then if pass is F, then we say I must become 1. So we could have actually used Boolean here. Then quickly hold on. What's up, Pikachu? Ga je nou slaapjes met jou, liefiekie? Is jy moeg? Ja, jy het 'n bietjie baie games gespeel. Kom, gee vir my 'n drukkie. Lekker slaap nou, liefie. Voel jy? Voel jy net okay?
Bietjie irriteerd en seer.
Is jy bietjie met my games?
Like, sy het gaan dinner eet en sy was nie online vir 3 ure nie.
Ja, maar onthou, omdat jy so baie games gespeel vandag, dis hoekom. En as jy so 'n bietjie siek is mens bietjie meer irritated.
Ja, en sy het 'n bietjie agitated geraak.
Sien, so sy seker maar 'n bietjie. En is goed om dan eerder breek te vat voor jy beklei. So, dis miskien goed probeer bietjie slaap, is miskien as jy kan. Dit is bietjie vroeg nou, maar miskien as jy kan slaap, kan jy dan weer wakker word.
Ja, nou gaan laat wees.
So, dan kyk jy maar weer 'n bietjie TV dan. Ja, kom.
Sy het altyd bang ek maak julle wakker.
Whatever ons. Jy moet rus. Probeer soveel as moontlik slaap. My oogies is nou lank op die rekenaar gewees, jou oogies gaan seer wees. Okay. Kom nou, prinses. Ek lief vir jou, hoor. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I forgot to pause. Um, all right, so we could have used like a boolean here as well, actually. But then, because what we can do is we can just say if I is equal to 1. So I will only be equal to 1 if it found the 1. So then in here we can say our new pass. Oh, you see, we want to do it the following time actually. I don't know if I'm confusing all of you now. I'm trying to just get your one to work. So in this way, it would actually work. Yeah, so, but yeah, so this way would work. Then we just make I0 again. So those of you that tried this or that want to try this, all right, so let me just explain what this did. So I0, we loop through each of the characters. We check if I is 1. So I is 0. So this would just be skipped initially. And then, but we will check this first character to see if it's equal to f. As soon as it is equal, then it's going to make I1 go down and then it will come up here and go to the next character. Now I is 1. So it will put that next character in here and then it makes I 0 again. And then it would go through here and then skip that. Make it 2. And then this should actually work theoretically, I think. This is now question that. No? Ish, where's the question? Or is it this one? Oh no, yeah. I'm not gonna try this. Now I have to type in the right thing. Okay, in any case, this would work fine. You can trust me. I know generally I say trust no one, but you can trust me with this one. It will work. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's the ASCII code. So this one, let's just see. So it goes through all 27 of them. Oh, you know what? Okay, I see what it's doing. So no, wait. It's going to check the first character. If it's equal to the alphabet, it's going to put that in there. No, it's supposed to work. Let me quickly see. Okay, let's do this. Um, yes, yeah. You get this one, yeah. Copy. All right. Okay, let's run this thing. Okay, so this is going to check the bottom one now. So let's try that first. Okay, it's validated. Let me encrypt it. Okay, so this one works fine. So that's the one that I fixed with you guys. The doing the for loop one works fine. Let's try this one here. So this will now check that one that you said is not working. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, what? I pressed the wrong thing. Okay, copy that. Okay, validate, encrypt. Mine works fine. Pavan, what are you doing there? Did you have extra? Did you see I did not have a begin and end here though in my if? Okay, did you have it there and then did you end it there? Is it two ends there? Okay, so that's probably why. All right, no problem. All right, so there's three different ways. So that one would work, this one would work, that one would also work. Whichever one you want to do is fine. All the ifs would also work. And then to just wrap this up, so what we do now here is we've got the new password. Now remember the question I changed. I asked, take this new password and write it inside the text file for me. So now what you do is, in this line, in this button I've done, I already assigned file. So that link is created. Open it for reading, we read it, and I close the file. But the link is still created. So you don't need to assign file again. You can literally just go append TF. So that means open it for writing. Then write in your pass, new pass in, and then close the text file again. So we open it for adding, write that new one, and do that. So let's quickly see that it works. Don't type in a password. Validate, encrypt. Okay, let's quickly go look. Now text file. Q in here, text file pass. And there you go. Insert it in. Add it on at the bottom. Yeah, so that would then just, that's all you need to do to save it back again. Because remember, I wanted this new one to be added on to the bottom. So we append our TF, then we write this, and then we just close it to save it. So remember, we've got the three options. After you assign file, that creates the link. Then you've got three choices. Either you can reset, which opens the text file for reading. Then you can read and close. Second option is you can append it. Append opens the text file, but it puts the cursor at the end so that you can write to it, but you add on. So it will add to the bottom of the text file, whatever you say. So then when you write line, it adds it to the bottom of that text file. And we can save and close. Or your last option would be a write line. That clears the text file or recreates the text file. So it deletes everything that's inside. And whatever you write gets placed into it. Overwrites what's there basically. And then you save and close. So that's your three options. Either reset for reading, append for adding, or write line for clearing and saving. Yes. Yes. String to int, and then I can use my input box on the inside. Alright, they will ask for the number. Now we've got the number. So basically all of you were on the right track, or those that said, so we can go if the square root if the square root of my number, okay, let's go with a frac root. So you can say if, what frac does, frac gives you only the fraction. So if the number is square rooted, and then the fraction of that is 0, basically meaning there's no fraction, then did I just say it? Did we need to say it's perfect square or not? Message saying if it's right. So then you can just say if it's that, then we can say in the array display dot lines dot add, we can say it's a square. Perfect. Perfect square. And then otherwise you can just say else not. Let's quickly see if this works. Yes, talk to me. You can, that you put it into another variable. That you create a double variable for it. Yes, real. Okay, 100%. Then it will work, yeah. Yes, as long as you created a real where you put this in, then it's fine, yeah. All right. Any other questions on this? Everybody good? Perfect square? Because the main thing is we wanted to get the square root, but we just wanted to see if the fraction is 0. The other option we could have gone is we could have said if what does trunk do? Do you know what trunk does? Yes. So if we take the square root of the number and we throw away the decimal, and if that is equal to the square root of the number, then it's a perfect square. So it's sort of checking that the one with no fraction is equal to the one which could have a fraction. And then only then it will be. So this root could have also worked. So this is sort of the same as the one we did with our uppercase and lowercase one. Lowercase of that character is equal to the character itself. That meant it was lowercase. So what we do here is we square root the number. If the square root of the number is equal to the square root of the number that is trunked, then it's also the same thing. But the frac one is your better option. I like frac more because we want, that's the whole purpose of it. If the fraction is 0, then it's a perfect square. All right. Any other questions so far? All right. So this one, we started display at empty. Then our number is 1. We started at number 1. Repeat until the total is more than 1,000. That's what they asked us. And then our display should have been whatever the display was, which is nothing, plus the number, which is 1. So we started with the number 1, which is the first one. So then our number must become whatever the number was, but times 3. And then the total should become whatever the total was, plus the new number. But then the only thing we needed to this total, because we already timed by 3, we must just start our total at 1. So total should also start at 1, and then we don't need to increment q. Alright, then the only, yes, talk to me. Oh, is it? Okay, no problem. And did you get it right? Oh, oh, okay, same as Pavan. Okay, you also used an array. All right, so okay, let's see what mine does. Let's see if it works, and then okay, so it stopped 1 before actually. Pavan, yours went 1 too far. All right, so let's quickly see what happened with mine. So it's the number is 1, total is 1. So now we repeat. And the display should become whatever the display was, plus the number we've got. So it's going to put the number 1 in there. We're going to times by 3. That's going to be the new number 3. Add 3 to the total. So the total becomes 4, and then it checks if the total is more than 1,000. If not, it goes up. This gets the next number in, so number 3 in. Then it times it by 3 again, so 9 will be put there. 9 gets added to the total, and then we check if the total is more than 1,000. Let's just see what the question says. It's a conditional loop must be used, and the loop should stop executing as soon as the sum of the terms in the sequence exceeds the value of 1,000. So the problem with mine is we increment the number and then we add it. So, but we should have actually displayed this number here. So, yes, talk to me. Which sign? Are you with me? All right, so the only thing I did change now, I started my display already with 1 because remember all of them we started at 1. So my display also started at 1 and then I times by 3 and add the number and then work out the total. So it's just the sequence. Yes, then that would work. Okay, then mine sorted. All right, so the only trick with mine was I had the number added to total and then stopped it before I displayed it. So now I just created the number, added it to the display, and then I added it and checked. So it was added, so I get the last number as well. So this is one way of doing it. I'm going to keep this one just here. And then I'm going to leave this one here for all of you. I want to fix Pavan's one. Let me just copy that again. I must actually copy everything, right? That and that. Okay. Just see if I can fix this. So we need variables q, and the array num is of type integer also. How big did you make your array num? How do I create the array again? Remind me. C. All right. Use 100 spaces. All right. All right. So we need I as well. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's see what you did. So you started Q at 1, then you set the first number gets the number 1. Then you repeat it. Then your array, so the next one, Q plus 1, so the next one gets the value of the previous one times 3, which is fine. Then the total is the previous one plus the next one. Oh, you see, this is your problem with this one. What you wanted here, so your total itself, you didn't initialize your total. So start your total at, start at 1, I think. And then, let's just see. That should always be, your total should always be total is equal to total plus. When you want to add an array together, your algorithm for total is always, it's your variable becomes whatever the variable was, plus and then the value. So it depends what we want to do. We can maybe see with this one if this would work. The other option would be to just go to Q. I don't like the Q plus 1 a lot. Um, so it does it twice now. Oh, sorry. It was double there. The display was double. Okay, but now it works fine now. Mine, I think. Yours also works. Yes. So, so yeah. Say again. So what I would have done. Okay, see, total is already 1. I would have incremented Q there. Then you could say just. Okay, but with this one you need the previous number. So yeah, so I would have had Q minus. So it's semantics, but uh, yeah, because you remember, because you go q plus 1 here. So if I increment, I don't need the plus 1 because it's already incremented. And then where you just used q, I want to go minus 1 because I want to take the previous one. Yeah. So it's basically the same thing. So nobody's going to be like, you're going to get 100%. This is literally just, I want to say, something I would do. But it's 100% preference. Yeah. There's not even a way that I can say it's like better for the CPU or anything. It's exactly the same. So it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, so okay, this would fix yours as well. But your main thing, so I think the key thing that everybody should look from here is always initialize your total. And when you're adding, getting a total, it's always your variable is equal to the variable plus and then your array. When we're doing arrays a lot as well, and this is always to add up something in an array is a variable equals to the variable plus and then the value. That will always give you your stuff. Right, and any other questions? Somebody tried this, got a problem somewhere? Yes, talk to me. Yep, here it is in green. All right, what I'll do, I'll copy that and put it in there. Okay. Anybody tried something of theirs that didn't work and they want me to have a look or fix? Or is everybody good to, or any questions? Just why, what, how? The key thing with this question was if you break it up, they said the first term in the sequence is always 1. So that means first term is always 1. And then the next question, they said each subsequent term in the sequence is equal to the previous one multiplied by 3. So each next term is the previous one times 3. Or you can say that. So each next one is the previous one times 3. And then they say a conditional loop. So we know it's either while or repeat, doesn't matter which one, must be run, and the loop should stop executing as soon as the sum of the terms exceeds 1,000. So there's our sum of the sequence, and it's a conditional loop, and it should stop when the total is more than 1,000. Conditional loop, it should stop when the total is more than 1,000. So if you literally like take each bullet by its, and I must say, the Department of Education did learn from previous mistakes. So they love giving you a question paper that is broken down nicely in bullets. So if you take it bullet for bullet and just do each of them, you'll get, even though yours didn't work, like Pavan's one didn't work, because of his, I think if they marked it, he would have still got 6. 6, maybe if it's a strict marker, maybe 5. Because generally there's a mark for did you initialize? And they just say initialization. And then because he initialized Q and stuff, he might have gotten the mark. Technically, you needed to initialize the total as well. But yeah, that's not, yeah. So one mark he might have lost there, and then one for the total. But the rest you would have gotten everything. So yeah. So yeah, creating a string and putting everything in the string first and then displaying it is a good skill to learn, and it is important, yeah.